Okay, this meeting is being recorded now. Welcome everyone to the Decentraland All Hands session for the month of June. This is our sixth All Hands session. We're super happy to keep this ritual going for the last couple of months. It's been super helpful. We got feedback from the community that this was really a useful way to have a sneak peek on what the Decentraland Foundation is planning and doing for the next development cycle. Remember that the All Hands sessions are aligned with the shape up cycles that occurs every 8 weeks in the first week of the cycle. So the idea of this meeting is that the cadence of the meeting will ensure everyone basically knows about what the foundation is doing, their progress, their plans, and the next big things. So this is a structured meeting, so we're gonna start with a short foundation update. I think Kim will be hosting the update with Miko. Then we're gonna talk about some product updates and strategy updates. And in the end, as always, we will have time for the Ask Me Anything session. So this is the first time we're holding this session without the facilitation squad. So sorry if there are some things missing. We're trying to figure everything out in terms of operations for the Yale. With that being said, I will pass it up to Kim. You're going to start? Okay, go ahead.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the All Hands. As Gino said, we do have a Slido for you all that can be shared at the, that we will go through at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to submit them there. Let's keep it professional and related to the content we're talking about, as always. And let's jump in. So first thing, I'm going to cover general updates from the foundation. A lot has been happening on the back end since we have done one of these. So the biggest thing was we had the community summit.
It's been really great meeting the foundation members.
I like to do things and see things that haven't been done before.
It's different from all the others like metaverse that we know.
I can finally think Decentraland as a more solid product.
And then hearing like what they've been working on, I think they've actually listened quite a lot.
Biggest thing for me is really the decentralization of it. You know, being able to speak my mind and be able to have no strings attached, no centralized server telling us we can't do this or do that.
And we can allow people to express themselves in a free form in the digital world.
Did you guys lose sound?
I think I lost sound. No, I think there's mute. Yeah. What happened?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I could drop the full link to the video in the chat here as well. I know many of you have already seen it, so no big deal there. But as you can see, we had an amazing opportunity for everyone to come together at the community summit. I am dropping the full video here for whoever needs it, hasn't seen it yet. But a really great group of people. We had about 100 people travel from 22 countries, all coming together in Buenos Aires, Argentina. A great way for everyone to get to know each other, do some work together. I think a lot of great collaborations and workshops came out of this session. We are talking with presenters just about opportunities to potentially present those again or give those recordings out to others. Hey, Gino, do you mind muting? There we go. And getting those, some of those recordings out, a few of them were recorded. If you haven't seen, we do have a community summit playlist on YouTube that I can also drop into the chat here, just so everyone has it, where we have all of the streams that are from the event, as well as that recap video. So it is a 3-part live stream of day one. So you can see the initial story, foundational story from Yamel and Gino, the overview of the DAO. Then we go through the product updates from Aga and Alvaro. And then towards the end, we go back to Yamel and we do some community questions. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, it's all on YouTube for everyone to participate. Shout out to everyone that is here that made the trip. We really enjoyed getting to spend time with all of you, and loved watching you all kind of interact in real life as well. So that is the summit. I just want to share from the summit. There was a DAO grant, and those updates have all been posted on the governance platform. So that is there for everyone as well. So coming out of this event, there are a few community opportunities. The first being signing up for the private alpha. So there is a form. Nico, will you drop it in the chat here for people as well? We'll also talk about it more later in this presentation, but we just want to make sure no one misses it. Make sure you're signed up by the end of this month, the end of June, to potentially get access to the private alpha, which will take place mid-summer. So access will probably give it mid-July. And then we're also looking for feedback on the editor. So I will drop in the link here as well. So this is just general editor feedback. We'd love to hear from all of you builders on what we can do to continue to improve that product. So that link is also coming in the chat in a moment. Calendar. So we're about halfway through the year. So wellness, art, and the summit have all already happened. Gaming, for anyone that doesn't know, is coming up next week. I will get into that in a little more detail. July is when private alpha will start. And then we will have fashion and public beta, music, and Art Basel. Miami, we will tell you more as we have more details, but just if someone's looking for our next in-person event, it'll likely be Miami in December. More to come there. So I want to talk a little bit about Game Expo, which is happening June 26th through 29th. So this is the first time we're testing an event that is 4 days and goes into the weekend. I know we got some feedback that if people are working a traditional weekday 9-to-5 job, they do miss some of the events. So the last day will be on Saturday this time. There are a lot of different events taking place depending on where you are in the world. Some of those live events are happening at night so that more people can try to join. We're really excited about this. This is the first time we've tried a gaming type of event. So appreciate your help all getting the word out and letting other people know that this is happening. So what should you know about the event? A, help us spread the word, but B, 4 days, 2 live performances, 10 live discussions. So just like we did at Art Week, where we had those live panels that streamed on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. These will all be live discussions that will be happening with a lot of our exhibitors. So exhibitors could be people that have Web3 games. They may be in Decentraland, they may not, but we're really trying to have that cross-compatible type of discussion about what makes a Web3 game fun, how do you build in Web3 gaming, learn about some of these other Web3 games. And when I say game, I don't mean like a metaverse platform. I mean like a traditional game that has Web3 components to it. There will be 15 wearables and emotes to claim. And I know everyone here is already thinking about that. Where do they go to get the good stuff? We will have some teasers coming out soon. I believe Dana has done one already. We will have 20 games that'll be played throughout. So there'll be 4 our Game Jam winners. Congrats again to all 4 of you. We'll be in the corners, as you can see here in the map. And then we will have teleports to other games as well that are in Decentraland. And we'll have 25 Expo booths. So really, really busy event, a lot going on. Shout out to our content team who is deep in it at the moment with Bay, our producer, just getting everything done and ready for this event. So make sure to go into the events calendar. You'll see we started putting all of the events in a special Game Expo schedule there for you all. Go in, mark attending, which helps everyone know that this is going to be like an exciting event. So RSVP. We do have a landing page that'll be going live tomorrow, as well as the ultimate guide. So everyone can really start planning their day. Another big exciting announcement is I would like to introduce Dana who is our new social media manager. As you all know, I've been covering some of that, and Peanut Butter has been working on transitioning to a role that allows him to do a lot more videos. So we do have a lot more new videos on the YouTube and more coming in the next few days. So that is a lot more tutorial, educational content so that we're ready as new people start to come in. We have a lot of really great content ready to go. So Dana, who you will see on Discord as Masta Waynes, is a Women in Games ambassador. She comes from—
Can I say hi?
Yes, hi, there you are.
Hi. So happy to be here. Hello, everybody.
That is Dana. So she comes from Unity, definitely understands the creator side of it all around good human. She's been with us for about a month. Same rules apply. DMs to the Decentraland handles, go through our normal Discord channels for request, for amplification. She is now in the DAO Discord, I believe, in our Discord, and then will be added to CBD, just so you can start to see her around. Introduce yourselves, be kind as always, and stay tuned. She'll be helping me build a lot of new programming, thinking about what can ambassadors look like, what can new how can we use user-generated content in a new way, etc. So all of that is coming. So you will also start to see more action on social, because obviously I've been covering it for a little bit, but haven't been able to dedicate full time to it. So this is the full-time role. So welcome, Dana. Also, we're still hiring at the foundation. The most urgent role we wanted to tell everyone about is our senior Unity engineer. If you all know the perfect candidate for this, we are really doubling down here in Unity. The external referral bonus is $1,000 USD payable in mana. To do a referral, you send an email to people@decentraland.org with the name of the role title and the name of the candidate, and then make sure they apply officially on Lever. So we will drop the Lever link here as well. So just a reminder for everyone on that. And I believe that's it. So I'm going to pass it over to Nico. If you have any questions, drop them in the Slido. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kim. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all again. Some of the faces that I met at Summit. So glad to be around again. So let me start with the product updates as usual. As you know, I'm going to talk about the things that we did in the past cycle. That was before the Summit. And I will also share some of the things that we've been working on for the cycle that started this week. But before that, let me refresh something that I already presented in the past few all hands in terms of transparency and collaboration. What do we have in place at the moment that is been working really well? So in terms of transparency, you have linked right there the board where you can see all the initiatives from the past cycle. We've been doing this for the past year. So you can see everything that we did and got into production, a few initiatives that failed and that we were able to learn from them. But most of it is already there, so you can check it out. And yeah, and take a look by yourself of all the things that we've been doing through all the cycles so far. And in terms of collaboration, we are using Canny. You can get there at feedback.decentraland.org, where you can choose the category and then submit a feature request, mostly, where you can tell us like where you're struggling, what can be done more efficiently, what is running slow, what could we do better, some ideas of features that we should introduce. You can also vote for other proposals that our players and creators submit. And for us, it's really important to focus on the problem. So if you can double down on the problem that you're having, like what is the struggle, and then we can find like the right solution. We can have the possibility also to ask questions back and forth. So far as this has proven to be pretty useful. We, since the beginning of 2024, we introduced it like really deeply into our development process. So I'm very happy with this. Let me share some numbers. So far, we have delivered 149 initiatives. This is already done, already in production for the past year. And 80% of all those initiatives were from Canny, were from requests from your feedback. So thank you for that. And in particular, Cycle 6, half of the initiatives were from Kanye, from the feedback forms. So thank you for all your feedback right there. And I hope that all things that we deliver on Cycle 6 are being used right now. So yeah, let's continue to use it, and we try to put as many initiatives that you ask for as we can. So let me share some things that we did during Cycle 6. As you know, the things that we prioritize every cycle respond to a product strategy. So this is no secret anymore. We've been working so hard to get the first version that you were able to see in May, and some of you even tried it, of the new desktop client. So that was yeah, most of the team was working on initiatives related to that. But also another part of the team was also improving the creator tools, trying to make the creators' lives easier, and also working on some features to make onboarding smoother for new users or for Web2 users as well. So for the new desktop client, you already seen this in the videos that we share. So we are super happy to unveil the first version of it. We are still working in continue improving and fixing some bugs and adding a cool new features that you will be able to see pretty soon once we launch the private alpha in July. So as you were able to, or also able to see in the summit, we had some improvements in terms of yeah, I mean, huge improvements, to be fair, in terms of performance and the way that the world renders. So yeah, this is huge. I'm not going to go through all of the new features. Alvaro presented really well at the summit. But yeah, we have this new sea and the ocean all around, Jersey City, new environment, looks awesome, in my opinion. So yeah, really excited for the things that are coming with the new client, and I cannot wait anymore for you to try it yourselves and share all the feedback that you were able to see once you try it on your own. Yeah, of course, the chat for me is a huge improvement. So yeah, it was hard work from the team. So kudos to all the team that was working on Expo Alpha. But as well as I was saying at the beginning, we also did other stuff. So let me pass it to Nico so he can share all the creator tools that we have been improving.
Hey everyone. Yeah, as Nico said, like most of the team was working on the Explore Alpha, but still we managed to squeeze in quite a lot of nice features for the creators. So let's look at what we have. So the first has to do with VRM exports. As you know, you can export anywhere, like the whole of the avatar. But as a wearable creator, you're able to mark any of your wearables as not exportable. And now when a player is wearing one of these wearables and wants to export their avatar, they're not going to be allowed as long as one of their wearables that they have on is blocked. So now we have a whole flow to allow you to easily, unequip any wearable that is not allowed and be able to export at least the rest of your avatar. And there's also warnings about which wearables aren't exportable, both in the backpack and also in the marketplace, so that you don't buy something that you know you won't be able to export later. So yeah, next feature. Let's dive into NFTs. So now it's possible to show NFTs from also Polygon, Solana, Zora, and basically any network that is supported by OpenSea. So in the past, we also had an issue that was pretty long-standing that NFTs in general weren't working. Now they are. And not only the NFTs that were working before, but also the NFTs that are in all of these networks. One small caveat, though, is that now we are limited to a maximum size per image of 6 megabytes, which is plenty, but some NFTs don't fit in that image, in that size. We'll work on the future in some kind of way to support those bigger NFTs, but at least now, most of the NFTs do load properly. This is a fun one. So in the past, we had the ability to attach an entity to the player's hands or on top of the player floating over their head. But now we can attach entities to anywhere in the player's body. And as you can see in this video, this little parrot keeps like switching between different parts of the body, and it moves with the player's animations. So you can now have a sword on your hand, as you could before, but you can also have like a full armor with plates on every single part of the body, or whatever you want to do, a backpack or a hat or whatever. It can all be done as part of a scene, as part of a portable experience, as part of a smart wearable. All of those, different scenarios would work too. So this one is about audio streaming. So in the past, when you were streaming audio, you were pretty much blind to the state of the stream. So if the stream for some reason, got cut and stopped working, the scene itself was unaware of that happening. But now the screen can detect the state of the other stream, and you could, build mechanisms to reconnect or to warn the player to, reload or whatever things you want to do with that. It also helps if you want to, for example, sync the starting of a stream with things in the scene. Now you know exactly when the stream is buffering, when it's properly playing, etc. Now this one is something that I'm really glad that we finally have, which is that now the text wraps automatically. So in the past, I really apologize to creators who had to do this in the past. Like you had to manually add a /n to do a line break for every line in any text in the UI. Now that is no longer necessary. In this little video, we are basically just setting a maximum width for the enclosement, and the text is just automatically, skipping lines, as you would expect. That happens pretty much everywhere else. But we include also a property to disable this, a text wrap property. So if you want to disable this, you can do that as well. By the way, the release of this went out minutes ago. Like I still didn't announce this in Discord. I will do this after this meeting. But in case this has any unexpected, consequences in your scene, it should be easily solvable by, adding the text wrap property in any, chunk of text that isn't supposed to wrap like this. So next one. So in the past, it was not possible to delegate operator rights to anyone to a world. Only the person who owned the world was able to deploy. Or really, there was a way that involved using the command line, but that was pretty advanced and not for everyone. Now it's possible to do that via the Builder UI easily. So let's show you in the video how that's done. Just go to the world section and look for the world. And there in the permissions, you can just add collaborators. And you can add a collaborator to deploy, and also you can add a collaborator to do streaming. So this works with the DCL cast feature. So now not only the owner of the world can present, anyone else can present too. And one extra little thing, you can also make a world private. So if you mark a world private, you have to allow list every one of the persons that is able to access this world. If they're not in that list, they won't be able to enter a world. So this is also a really interesting feature that has been asked for quite a lot. Now we can have a world that is restricted to only, be loadable by a very, controlled group of people. Yeah, it really is huge. And we're kind of treating it as a, an extra here, but it's a feature in its own right. So next one, wearable rarity. Now it's possible to mint wearables that are somewhere in between the 10 and 100 rarity. Now it's 50. We're calling this rarity exotic and has its own special color, and it's already supported in the marketplace, in the backpack, everywhere that matters. Next one. So now you can add a description about the utility of your wearable. So if you have a wearable that gives you some power up or some special ability in world, we added this little text field in the wearable creation process, and now this text appears in the marketplace to let potential buyers know about what this wearable does in world. So thanks to this, you can give a lot more visibility to any special power-ups or things that this wearable might have in your scenes. Also related to wearables, we added the ability to add tags to a wearable. So now we added a field also in the wearable creation process where you can add any tags you want. These tags, by the way, are approved by the committee so that they're relevant. And now anyone searching the marketplace can actually also use these tags to search for content and this makes them a lot more discoverable, even if the name doesn't exactly match what they're looking for. A couple of things for the editor. So this is a feature that we used to have in the old builder. the ability to just drag in a kind of floor and cover the entire scene, no matter the size. Notice that now we can do this also with L-shaped scenes. Doesn't that have to be a square-shaped scene? And also now we are adding all of the entities for the ground as tiles in this ground group. And they're locked by default, but you can unlock them, move them, delete them. So you have a lot more flexibility than before. And also if you drag something by holding Shift, you can also add this item as a normal item. So it's not going to tile the whole scene. It's going to be a single tile that's slightly above the others so that you can combine different types of tiles. So yeah, this flow makes it a lot easier to like do the first step of creating a scene, which is often such a friction point to not be able to just put a floor on your scene. Next one. Sorry, the next key sometimes flukes out. There we go. So when you are setting the parcels of a scene in the desktop editor, in the past you had to manually list each one of the coordinates of the parcels that you wanted. This could be quite a pain, especially for large scenes. Now you can just use drop downs to select the dimension of your scene, and you can also toggle these any tile you want, like one by one, so you can easily create a shape that isn't necessarily square. And yeah, also you can go to the advanced mode and do whatever you could do in the past if you want to have more control. But with this, you can already do quite a lot with a much more friendlier interface. And I believe that the next one is the last one. Here we go. So a couple of quality of life improvements for the editor. So the first one you'll notice is that in the past, you had to use the arrows to move things in one axis at a time. Now included a new icon that lets you have planar movements, so you can drag things around in a much more free way, just around the plane of the ground. Another nice thing is that when you add any items, if you have any duplicate items, you have the names with a little underscore number at the end. This means that you no longer have duplicate names. And this is quite relevant when you're dealing with smart items, because sometimes you want to refer to something by name, and now you clearly can disambiguate which is which. And also it's very useful when you're dealing with code on your scene, because again, like if you have repeated names, that can not always work as you expected. Now every name is going to be unique. And the last thing is that you'll notice that on the list on the left, now you have some items that have a little hexagon icon, but others have a lightning icon. These are the smart items. So now it's easier to tell apart which items in your scene are smart and which are not, which is also pretty useful to, just have a quick overview of what you have on your scene. And that, I believe, is all. So, oh, sorry. There we go. You go.
Yeah. So many updates for creators. So hope you try these new features and give us feedback in case there's anything else that we still need fixed. So if it's just appreciation, we value that too. So let me share a few of the updates that we have regarding onboarding and helping new users and work users. So when you first log in, I guess most of us already have like many pages of wearables, but if you just are a new user and you can use only the base wearables, which are by the way really cool, I really like those glasses. Before this feature, there were some that were restricted to either one body shape. So now all the base wearables are available for both body shapes. So you can choose whatever you like and customize your wearables and express yourself as much as you want. So I think that's really cool. Then we did a nice bump in terms of design and functionality on the help center page. If you go to decentraland.org/help, you will be able to see this new cool looking page where you can have a direct access to contact the support team directly on the chat on the bottom right, and then you can also check the system status and see what systems are operational or not. You have quick links to the frequent asked questions and also to some support updates if you just want like a quick information about what's going on all around the platform. So that's really nice. Also, we did another revamp to another site that was the account. This is decentraland.org/account, where you used to have only the wallet. It was called wallet before this. Now we rebranded to account settings, because on top of the wallet, where you can also check your address right there. This is really useful for people who are not like too Web3 savvy. You can also sign into email notifications, where you can receive the same notifications that you are currently receiving in app, but also to your email. This is an opt-in, so you can just go ahead to this section, put your email, validate your email, of course, for security, and then you will start receiving emails just for notifications that you want to. This also works in mobile, so you can choose and to subscribe and unsubscribe to each notification individually, so you really get what you are interested in and not everything else. So check it out and let us know what you think. Also, the team has been working on this is not a feature that made it to production. This was a research project. We were able to do some research in terms of how we could improve the experience for projects that wanted to have link wearables in the platform. If you already passed through that experience, it was really hard to get the API running, and there are a few other pain points. So we were able to send a proposal to the DAO. It was approved with a vast majority, so happy about that. And yeah, I will share now, but the team will be working now in the upcoming cycle to remove that friction from the process, so there won't be necessary to develop an API to have link wearables any longer. So that'll be cool. So in the same line, let me share what are the things that we will be doing on the upcoming cycle. This cycle started today. This week. It was this Monday, and we're going to have 2 sets of releases. Some of the features are going to be released by mid-July, and the rest is going to be delivered by early August. I will have the next All Hands as well. So in terms of the strategy, it's on the same lines, but we're trying to focus on the private alpha that we're trying to release in July for you to test. So we're trying to deliver the best version possible that we can. At the same time, the team will continue to work on creator tools to streamline the content creation flow on the SDK 7 and also in the editor for non-developers. And we will also be investing time in trying to boost the creators economy, trying to give you more tools to sell more, to highlight your content, and to generate more incentives for people to come and see your amazing creations. So I'm not going to share much of the things that we are going to be working on for the new client at this time. We are going to see it for yourself really soon. So we already have the link, but if you want to complete the form right here in the QR code, you're welcome to do it, and then we will get in touch with you to let you know how you can download the client and start testing once it's ready. So for content creation, pass it back again to Ronnie.
Excellent. So we'll be doing a couple of pretty big things. One is bringing in the new Explorer into the content creation flow. So right now, if you want to build something and see it in the in the Explorer, you have to first publish it and then enter that through the new Explorer. We want it to be part of your continuous flow. We want you to be able to prototype and create and iterate, seeing what your content looks like with the new Explorer. So that is going to be quite a challenge. It has a few different facets to it. One has to do with being able to render 3D content that isn't compressed, which is part of the flow of this. One has to do with being able to include hot reload into the new client, so you don't have to relaunch for every change you make. So yeah, this is going to keep a bunch of the people in the team quite busy for the next few weeks, but it's going to be totally worth it. It's going to be really, really useful to be able to see what your content looks like with the new engine. And the other pretty related thing has to do with creating a brand new editor. So as you know, right now, there's 2 ways to use the editor. One is with the web editor inside the builder section of our web page, and the other is with the what we call the desktop editor, which is really a Visual Studio Code extension. You want to have something that is neither of the two. That is, it combines some of the strengths of both sides. We want it to be a simple thing you just install. In fact, we want this to be part of the installation of the client itself. So whenever you download the client itself, there will be an easy checkbox just to install the editor together with the client. And like you won't have to go looking for the editor anywhere else. You'll have it right there in front of you. And you won't have to, have dependencies with, Visual Studio Code, which is a developer tool that might be intimidating for people who aren't, comfortable with writing code. But we still want to have, all of the strength of the editor we have today. It's going to allow you to also write code and have all of the powerful features, but it will also have all of the nicer and friendlier interface that we have with the web version. And yeah, when this new editor is going to run your previews of your scene using what I was just showing. We're using the new editor as the engine to run your previews. So yeah, this is also a big project that we're taking on, and we're planning to make this the official way for creating content, like the way of creating content that would encourage everyone to use, as opposed to either the web-based tool or the Visual Studio Code extension. We want people to gravitate towards this. And the next one is regarding linked wearables. So as you know, linked wearables are the wearables you see when you own a token that isn't necessarily a Decentraland token, be it Bored Apes or any other token that decides to have the representation in Decentraland. And the process for creating these today is pretty tough. One of the main challenges has to do with that the creator of the linked wearable has to provide their own API to provide the mapping between each one of their tokens and each one of the wearables. So in some cases, the wearables like the whole collection of NFTs all links to one specific wearable. In other cases, you have one specific wearable for each variation of the token. Sometimes you have something somewhere in between. And the creation of this API is, of course, a technical challenge. Some NFT creators don't have the skills to do this, or like they have to also pay to keep this this API working over time. And another negative side effect of this is that then this API is not always kept up over time, and sometimes owners of these wearables might suffer from the API it's stopping working or things like that. So now we will provide a simple UI for the creator of a linked wearable to just specify that via a UI, and as a foundation, we will take care of hosting all of that API service behind the scenes without it needing to be a concern of the creator of the linked wearable. So yeah, that'll be so yeah. Go, all yours.
Thanks, Nico. Yeah. So let me share just quick some things that we're doing for the creators economy. Some of things take a little bit longer than cycle 7, so bear with us. But let me share with you what the things are. We'll be working on this front next. So we're working on implementing a new indexing technology behind the scenes that will make the performance for the marketplace mostly, and also for our apps, to increase significantly. So if you have been experiences maybe like it's been running kind of slow, we're working to fix that, to make the buyer experience way smoother, so they can find the items that they want and buy them. So this should be helpful for all the ecosystem. That this will be coming out at the end of the cycle by early August. And then next one, this is very exciting for me. Many of these things have been asked in our feedback website, because you want to have discounts. You want to be able to create a promotional code to share with your communities, do a hot sale that lasts for a few days, and creates this hype and get a lot of sales. Bundling items, doing counter offers when you receive a bid for one of your items, and many other things that were also proposed. I also ask you to create new tickets in our feedback site, asking for this type of mechanics that will help you, so we can also try to tackle them next. At the moment, we'll be working on the smart contract that will allow all of this. So all of this, we're trying to do discounts. I cannot promise it will be done by the end of the cycle, but we're going to put in place all the initiatives, all the infrastructure that we need in order to make these initiatives a reality. So these are the ones that we have mapped right now. So if you are able to jump into Kani, into our feedback forms, and tell us what else will help you to sell more, we'll be happy to scope it and yeah, to make it happen. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Awesome, that's great. Amazing updates. It's really great to hear the progress. And after seeing us all in the community summit is even more exciting. So we're gonna start with the AMA section of the All Hands meeting. So I will read the questions. Nico, if you wanna share the screen, I'll give you access to that.
I'm sharing now. Do you see?
Great, cool. Yeah, we're all seeing it. Amazing. So let's start with the first question. It says, when the maximum mouse sensitivity is going to be increased on the client, especially on the drone camera mode, it's way too slow in turns compared to the browser.
Hello, Gino. Hello, everyone. Yemel here. I will take some of the questions. So for this one, it would be great to have it on Kani, the platform for feature requests. We are planning to have the new client replace the desktop client, so we can take this in count for the new version of the client. I think that's what makes most sense.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, it is completely okay if there's something that does not have an answer right now. So using Kani or using the EFI is the best process to follow up with any of those questions that might not get completely answered. So let's start with the second one. With most venues closing their doors, what is the Decentraland plan to engage new users in Q4 with the new client? What will make them want to stay in DCL?
I can take that one. Oh, sorry. I realized my camera went off. There we go. Hi, everyone. So plans to engage new users in Q4 with the new client. So as we've talked about in the past, from a marketing perspective, at this point, we're primarily in organic and partnership mode where we do big events. And through that, we definitely have a way where we can continually tell people what's happening in Decentraland today, but it sticks to our own ecosystem if we're using organic methods. So once the new client goes live, we plan on turning on additional methods. That would be bigger partnerships, paid advertising, more in-world events. So really a robust marketing strategy that would go on. Initially, we've talked about this, and just the cost of acquiring a user is pretty high, and knowing that we're having some technical debts that we want to fix first, we'd rather spend that money once we know we can give the optimal experience. So that will be coming in Q4 with a robust marketing plan. We will be sharing some of that with you as we get closer to the timeline. We're fleshing all of it out on our end, but stay tuned. Definitely a different approach than what we've done in the past.
Thank you, Kim. And to add to the second part of the question about what makes users to stay, we are also on a product side working on engagement mechanics that drives users to explore Decentraland. We're making these mechanics heavily based on exploration on Genesis City, and driving the attention of the users to going to point A and then point B and finding different challenges and get some rewards. Our bet is that these mechanics will provide some base engagement for a new user that keep them coming and until they find the real value in Decentraland, that are you, the communities, and everyone building their own version of what they want to see in Decentraland. Yeah, so marketing and engagement mechanics on the product side.
Awesome, great. And from the DAO side, I would say that we have a treasury to utilize for creators fund. So we'll find a way to keep executing on that treasury to keep helping creators to build things. Okay, so the tech debt for the Web Explorer is getting pretty high. How do we know this will be resolved and not abandoned with the lead up to the new client?
This is a really big topic. The tech debt in the current client in Decentraland, both the web version and the desktop version that we have, it's pretty high. That's true. It relies on many complex infrastructure, and also the web version really limits what we can do in Decentraland. Also, time to time, you have updates from browsers like Chrome that change memory management, and that breaks stuff. And Unity also have their own updates, that every update that we want to do on the Explorer may break some APIs. Maintaining the current version of Decentraland has been a pain, and that was the critical rationale for deciding to let's build a new version that doesn't have all this technical debt. So that's why we are building a new version, because fixing all the technical debt at this point is way harder than building something way better from scratch. Regarding what's the maintenance plan, we are aiming heavily on pushing the new client as the new way to experience Decentraland. And so most of our efforts are there at the moment, and I think that all the new features that we want to bring to SDK and the creator tools are heavily based on that flow. Web version at the moment will continue online, and when we launch the new version, it will still be available. But I think the future of Decentraland is around the new client and not the web version.
Awesome, great.
I can also just add one more thing on top of that. So with the existing client, we are basically at the minimum maintenance right now, because all the resources are focusing on the new client, which also means that we are doing very limited bug fixing. So like the increase of the technical debt is actually not really happening only because of our side. There's a lot of like what Yamel mentioned with like updates to the browsers, different environments that we are running on. So I guess at this point, the most critical part is the rave mode, streaming issues, all those things, like the performance as well. And all those things are pretty much being addressed with the new client as well. So we are definitely keeping track of all those things to not introduce that with the new client.
Yeah, the strategy to keep it alive, maybe it's about removing features and make it a more simpler version of Decentraland, and you go to the new clients for the full version. Yeah, but if the main point is to keep it web accessible, maybe there are other alternatives to that, like making a port of the new client into web, an option, doing pixel streaming for a few minutes to users, and then encourage them to download a new client, or maybe pay a subscription to keep accessing via web. I don't know. There are many alternatives to provide a web solution.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. So for those of you who don't know her, Aga just chimed in. She's the engineering leader of the Explorer team on the Decentraland Foundation. So thanks for the context. Okay, next one. So why HP moderates DCL forum? He's part of Foundation. He always abuses his moderation power, and it strikes the Decentraland reputation. I can take a little bit on this one if you want, Jimmy. So first of all, HP, and I think we're talking about HP Records and not Hewlett Packard. So he's not part of foundation. He's not an employee on the Decentraland Foundation team anymore for quite a few months already. Regarding December, okay. Regarding his role on the community, he's a DAO committee member. As you all know, recently the facilitation team decided to not continue on their duties. So the DAO committee is trying to fill in as many roles as possible. I would like to remind everyone that the DAO committee is a position that it's hired and fired by the community. So if anyone is against whatever is the DAO committee doing to try to moderate the community, you can always start fighting category on the DAO. I think that's it. Okay. Oh, the raid mode. Any progress on the raid mode? None of these changes matter if we still experience it.
No, sadly, the few folks spend like a week working on like a fix for the raid mode. I don't want to get too technical, but the problem is that Chrome browser make a change on memory management, and the Unity web build, it's not dealing well with it. That change. We talked with Unity. Unity said like you should update the Unity version. That probably will help in solving the situation. We try to update to a new version of Unity. We come up that we rely on many APIs and like features that the previous version had, and now the new version has a different way to access that, and making the migration of all that functionalities were like a big daunting task. So bad news on trying to fix it, at least with 1 week and a few very experimental faults. The other news is that there is other browser that in which you can experience the Decentraland web version that is operating way better than Chrome. That it's Opera GX. They have way better memory management than Chrome. So if we want to still experience Decentraland in a web version, Opera GX is the recommended browser to do it. And other than that, going to the desktop client is the best way.
Awesome. Great. Okay, with the recent Fashion Week 2022-2023 news surrounding Dolce & Gabbana and UNXT, is this year's Fashion Week still a thing, or is it risk as it seems to involve DCL?
I can take that one, Yamel, if you want. Sure. So yeah, we've seen the news with Dolce & Gabbana and UNXT. Just for everyone's awareness, like we are not involved in that. We are being named, but falsely. It is just a NFT that participated in Decentraland, but we did not have anything to do with creating it or the team involved. Our Fashion Week will still be a thing. It'll be in October. We are working through all of those details. Once we get through Game Jam, which is next week, then we will start pivoting to some fashion. We are working on it definitely being really community focused. So last year we had the community runway. I think we'll work more in community, upcoming designers, that type of vibe, but more will be coming. Nikki, I see your question follow up about does Fashion Week during the new client beta? Cannot commit to that at this time. We'll see how the timing all kind of lines up, but that's where we stand today. But yes, we will be doing something fashion in October. More details to come very soon.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Kim. Okay, next one. Any ideas why Esteban removed delegations? Does he plan the new ones without his VP, DAO almost dead? I don't think anyone has insight on Esteban personal decisions, so I don't think we have an info on that. Regarding circulating VP, you can see the transparency dashboard, and you can see they're still a few amount of users with more than 100 kbp. So I wouldn't say that it is dead, but again, delegations are a personal decision. So okay, this one is from Peabody. So there's a proposal in the DAO regarding points of interest guidelines and categorization. What is the best way to contact the foundation to find out their opinion on this? If anyone wants to take it, if not, we have the technical liaison team, and we also have Kani, so the community can use those artifacts to communicate with the foundation. I don't know if there's any other info.
If it's only like our opinion, I'll be happy to, to discuss with anyone. Could be through Kani, or I can share my Discord handle. But yeah, if it's just to share ideas, happy to discuss.
Totally. So I will post the link for the proposal here. It's basically about adding metadata to the points of interest. There are some questions there and comments. If you want to chime in, Nico, that would be nice. Okay. So any plans to integrate AI into DCL, like NPCs that can travel and simulate emotional intelligence with chat and voice, AI into the weather to make the weather intelligent, etc.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Yeah, I'm really excited of AI and the potential to empower creators on one side, and yeah, and also make Decentraland a platform for this kind of AI content. And we did some experiments on having NPCs that are backed by AI, but I think we can take that technology way further. And really integrate it in features of the product. For example, we have been discussing about automatic translation on the chat, so you can talk with other people even though they don't speak English. And there are so many things that we want to add. The focus at the moment really is having a solid client with a base level feature that is performant, engaging, and that we can relaunch Decentraland brand and get a lot of users. And I truly believe this is solid foundation to continue adding these technologies like AI. So I'm really excited about it. Not very short term. After lunch, that will be the best timing.
Awesome. Any plans to team up with Ash from Hyperfy? He's achieving a lot of relevant things that DCL could learn from.
I can take that one. We don't have a current plan. If there's something in particular, I'd love to hear from you. So whoever that is, feel free to DM us on the social. But yeah, Hyperfy has been doing some great stuff. We have some different objectives than them, but definitely keeping an eye and always open to any partnerships. If anyone has partner contacts that want to reach out to us, you can email partnerships@decentraland.org. But we are going through looking at a variety of groups that we can partner with as we get to the new launch.
I would love to hear what's the most interesting thing about Hyperfly from your point of view. For the person that make that question, I think that getting that part of it, like I'm really interested. Maybe
okay,
they can
so who will manage? Yeah, maybe you can drop it in the chat, or again, maybe providing feedback on Kani or over Discord. That would be useful.
Kani would
so
be
who will manage? Yep. Who will manage RFI proposals from the DAO side? Currently, as you know, there's no facilitation team, so either the DAO committee or I will try to take the lead and manage the RFI process in the next round. Okay, so for token-gated private feature, can it be gated by an NFT address where holders of that NFT can access the world?
I can take that one. Not yet. For now, you can, it's like a whitelist that you can define, a allow list that you can define addresses that can enter when it's private. But yeah, that's something that we want to do. It's not ready yet, but we'll be announcing it as soon as we have it. Of course, that's a cool idea.
Awesome. Are there plans to have an image frame that can render image from URLs, like in SDK6 browser builder, rather than enforcing images into the texture in SDK7?
So for context, in the old builder, we had a smart item that took care of this, and like we have plans actually to have that same mechanic in a smart item on the new SDK7 editor. I mean, it would still use a texture, but it would just abstract away and just offer you one single field for the URL of the image you want to display. Yeah, we'll be having that in, I hope, in the short term.
Awesome. How are people able to download my scene code?
I can take that. So when you create a scene and you publish it on your LAN in a parcel in Decentraland in Genesis City, you are compiling the code that you code in TypeScript, and that's all compile and compress in JavaScript in a big like minify file, and that's pushed to the Catalyst network. If you are deploying in a world, that's being pushed into a content server. That they are pretty similar in the sense that they are hosting the content of the world. The Catalyst network has a public API. If you go to a Decentraland documentation on the contributor section, you can get more info about how this content layer works and how to make the different API calls to retrieve the content of a scene. So if a scene is being published in Decentraland, you should be able to access like the minified code, the assets from the Catalyst. That's what any Decentraland client is using to be able to render the world. I can share the link of the documentation for further reading.
Just to add a quick clarification there, so people are able to download the minified compiled version of your code, but they can never download the source code that you wrote, which means like the minified version is a lot less human readable, is a lot less friendly, but essentially contains everything that you created, but in a much less reusable format. But that doesn't mean that people might be able to extract important parts if they're clever enough.
Right. Okay, so will the voice chat finally work in the no client?
Well, we definitely are planning to have a lot of features regarding voice and like communication. For the launch in particular, we mostly focus on having a solid chat. So that will be the main feature for communicating in the new client. But yeah, we are on the technical part. We are super ready on doing a voice chat that really works. Yeah, that we build from the ground up the network layer, the communication layer, and yeah, so it's really in the plans. You shouldn't expect it for October, but yeah, it should be soon, very, very quick after that.
Awesome. Is a private world access controlled on the client side or server side?
I think also it's on a server side. When you go to the content server that is storing all the assets of the world, I think you need to authenticate in order to retrieve all the content. Correct me, Nico, if...
As far as I know, it's like that. I don't know for sure.
Awesome. Thanks. So, question from Cheddar. Can Foundation weigh in their tech expertise on DAO proposal comments? We make huge decisions without your input. It is detrimental and leads to bad.
Okay, I think that this is an interesting feedback. Yeah, maybe yeah, that's something that we can review to have the problem on committing to like commenting and giving an option, like an opinion on every proposal, maybe like very taxing, because that workload can scale a lot. But definitely we can have some sort of guideline, like if the proposal gets enough votes or like it's at least on a draft stage. Yeah, maybe we can commit to at least to a particular kind of proposals.
Yeah, and with the recently launched technical liaison team, it would be nice for them to have a process, community facing, to try to give context as well, and maybe act as a link between the foundation engineering teams and the community asks. So, okay, so for large events like the music festival, will the foundation be creating that, or is it realistic for the community to seek DAO grants to build venues for it?
Do you want me to take that, Yamil?
Go for it.
Sure. So for large events, like this year we have 5. The plan is still that the foundation will be creating those for the sense of having centralized like plaza that we can give people and decide what can happen there. But with all events, the community is always welcome to add events, add content, create wearables, etc. for it. The main idea is that we try to create at least one plaza space where a lot is happening, and then we can filter people kind of wherever else other big events are happening. So we try to get these big events going. We've been doing more community integration, more community-led events. So for this year, for Gaming Expo, for example, there are the Decentraland games all being featured. 2 different Decentraland groups are hosting parties, an opening party and a closing party, etc. The second part of the question of, is it realistic for the community to seek DAO grants to build venues for it? I think that's up to the community on what you want to spend your grant doing. Just knowing the foundation will continue to build a main plaza for the event. If you want to build something in addition to that, we could definitely talk about how that makes sense. We'd be happy to help market it and support it as part of the bigger event. But I think that's for you all to vote on what you want to build in addition to what the foundation is already doing.
Thank you, Kim. Will the web client be dropped off?
I can take that. I think we need to make a separation on like codebase and platform. Regarding codebase, the old codebase of Decentraland client, we are moving into deprecated. Like we really want to put all our energy in like this new technology stack that already is way better in many senses on performance and what we can do there. So definitely that's the future of the codebase, or at least the client that we are building in Foundation. So the old codebase is really hard to maintain. That's why we decided to build a new one. And so looking to the future, we want to eventually like put all our energies on the new client and not be dealing with all the technical debt and all the infrastructure and complex things that need to be in place to maintain the current version of Decentraland. That's regarding the code base. And then we can talk about the platform, if it's web important or web is not important, like to give users the possibility to access Decentraland via web. And I believe that's important. We started on desktop because that let us be like ready to go to multi-platform. Like we can go to different stores, that people can download the client directly from like a game store. I can mention like Epic, Steam, and many others, Microsoft stores. We can go to consoles, we can go to mobile, we can go to VR. That's the best decision, like to build a code base that can extend to many other platforms. Web, there is a possibility to bring the new code base into web, but I think to decide what's the future on that, we first want to launch the new version, keep the web client as is, and after that we can come up with a new strategy and a plan for bringing web experience to all users in a new fashion.
Thank you, Guillermo. Okay, I think this is the last question. Oh, there's another one in the queue. So the next one will be the last one. So this one says, will the MPRS in the worlds, which is brown color squares, will be replaced with a grass or field?
Yes, that's actually already the case. If you enter a world with a new explorer, you will see a surrounding, I think there's like 2 parcels worth of grass, and then there's the sea all around. So it's like a little island.
Great, thanks. Okay, and this is the last one. What is the difference or benefits to own just a world, or well, to own a name, or to own a name and a parcel together? Does one parcel will bring any benefits to the world? So basically owning only a name, or owning a name that gives you access to the world and a land parcel as well.
Do you want to tackle that, Yamel, or do you want me to?
I can comment a part, and then you can add on top of that. So we really want to push Genesis City as a big differentiator of Decentraland from other metaverses, and we put a lot of technical effort on being able to render creation of different people in the same space and area. And that's something that is pretty unique of Decentraland. We want to focus our engagement mechanics in users exploring Genesis City. We also have been discussing about limiting teleportation in different ways. So like the exploration and the foot traffic in Genesis City is the general behavior of like a new user. And the connection to these other worlds, private worlds, it's something that we continue discussing. Worlds for sure are available, and you can, in the new client, you can travel. And I believe the value of a world is that you can build your private scene. It has a very lower entry barrier, but making a big difference about the experience you get and all the foot traffic you can get on Genesis City. And the discoverability there is way better. So that's the difference between having a land parcel and having a world. If you get a land parcel, you have more visibility and you will get more traffic. And from that land parcel also you can direct and teleport users, build a portal to your particular world. So in that sense, I think that's one difference. The other part is that you get more storage in your world based on the assets you own. So if you have a name and a parcel, you can build a bigger world. Kim, I don't know if you want to add something else.
I was just going to add that the benefit of discoverability if you're in Genesis City, and you could also add a portal to your world if it wasn't something you wanted to keep private. So those were the only things I was going to say, which you covered. I know people are commenting in the chat as well, just about the additional storage space, additional VP, etc.
Awesome, great. Okay, I think that's a wrap up. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I don't know if anyone wants to say something, like some closing words or something like that. If not, we will, Kim, go ahead.
I was just going to do a final reminder for everyone about the Game Expo next week. We're really excited to bring that to the platform and have everyone really engage in what's possible in Web3 gaming. So would love to have you all there. Come check it out. There will be at least 15 plus wearables and emotes that are for free for everyone in the community from a variety of partners and exhibitors. So it should be a lot of fun, and we look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Gino, for
Thank
hosting
you
this
so
meeting.
much. Thanks everyone for taking the time to be here. And we'll see you out there in the metaverse or in real life.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you.